Hi, Future Paul here. I just watched the rough cut of what I recorded for this video, and there are a couple of things I'd like to explain about what I did. So I tried a vlogging style, as you could see. I'm in the music studio rather than in my art studio, so the location, if it looks different, that's the reason why. And on the computer screen, which is at the moment to my left, I had a PowerPoint presentation up with the points that I wanted to cover in the video. So if you see my eyes sliding weirdly out to one side or the other side of the frame, it's because I'm looking at my notes. So I hope that's not too off-putting and that you'll enjoy the video. Thanks. Today, I want to talk about expanding and supercharging your creativity. And I'm going to take an experience that I had, which had huge benefits for me, and I think it might be interesting for you and might be something that would help you as well. What really helped my creativity and really accelerated my growth as an artist was collaboration. At the end of a very intense workshop a number of years ago, 4 of the participants, myself included, formed a small group so that we could get together on a semi-regular basis and keep working on the things that we'd learned in the workshop. So I want to talk to you about 6 ways that my creativity benefited from being part of this group. And at the end, I'll have a 7th bonus thing to share as well. Let's just dive right into it, shall we? So the thing about being part of a group is finding your tribe. So this is a concept that Sir Ken Robinson made popular a number of years ago. And it makes a lot of sense, right? It's hard being a creative, and it really helps to hang out with people that share the same kinds of interests that you have. Now, if they were all identical to you in terms of their interests, that would be less helpful. It would be an echo box, nothing more than that. But typically, you're going to meet people who share your passion, but they have their own personal perspective about it. So let's talk about how I benefited and how I think you could benefit from finding that kind of tribe, if you will. First and foremost, of course, having the support of other members of the group really enhanced my confidence as a creative. It can be a lonely road, and it really helps to be able to talk to people who are on the same path. So that in and of itself really, really helped me tremendously. So that's the first benefit. The second benefit was getting true, honest feedback from the other members of the group. So we early on decided that we would not simply be a mutual admiration society. What we wanted to do was help each other grow. And the way to do that was to share work and solicit feedback from the other members of the group. Now, because we're all very much of the same, cut from the same cloth, so to speak, creatives, we're sharing a similar passion, in this case about photography and growing as photographers, we were quite sensitive to not being overtly critical, but rather try and provide a personal response to the work of some of the other members as it was shared with us. The benefit that I had was seeing my work from new perspectives, ones that didn't come out of my own biases about who I was as an artist or what my work was quote unquote supposed to mean. So this is something that I think you get from being a member of a group or finding your tribe, so to speak. That's the second benefit, getting true, honest, and supportive feedback that gives you new perspectives on your work. Now, I haven't talked about collaboration yet, but that's coming up now. The group evolved to the point where we decided what we wanted to do was work on joint projects. We settled on producing a zine, a photo zine, once a year roughly. And furthermore, we decided rather than do what might be the more typical approach of each of us putting together a selection of our bangers from the year and then putting them in a zine, you know, Paul's photos first and Mike's photos or second, etc. So rather than take that approach, we wanted to push ourselves by doing a truly collaborative project. And we hit upon the idea of call and response, which became the name of the zine. One of the members would suggest some kind of format or context for how we would approach making images for the zine for that year. And this might be finding a favorite line of poetry for each of us, making some images inspired by that line of poetry, then passing either the images or the line of poetry on to another member so that they could go off and make some images in response. We made a zine every year for 5 years, and we used a variety of contexts and prompts to make the zine. So I learned a lot, an awful lot from that. I learned about new ways of being creative, both just using this kind of mechanism to make work, but also just seeing how other people were responding to the same prompt that I was responding to. It really opened my eyes. One of the things about taking workshops in general for me has always been, I look to my left, I look to my right, and I go, wow, I really like what that person's doing over there and this person over here. I wish I'd thought of that. So I was able to experience that over a long period of time. It was just fantastic. I'm so thankful for having that experience. So that was number 3. And actually, I've sort of included number 4 in what I was talking about. So just to go over that, I learned from the others different ways of approaching a project. Okay, so that's number 4. Learning from others, seeing how they approach their creative process, and learning from that. What a fantastic experience. That really changed the way I thought about approaching projects myself. Now, it was fortuitous in a way, not necessarily something that we had considered right at the start, but it was interesting that we had, in fact, chosen to make a zine. And that's because we also, each of us, learned individually and as a group how to go about editing photos and sequencing them for a photo zine. So new skill was learned, which is, again, something that's just an added bonus and something that came about from doing the collaboration. This turned out to be a real confidence booster. It really expanded my skills. It did the same for the other members of the group. So this was another positive outcome of being a member of this group and working on collaborative projects. And to follow on from that, I learned about how to lay out a zine and send it for publishing. And each of us did that. So each year, one of us would take primary responsibility for doing a draft layout of the zine. We would get input from the rest of the members of the group. We'd modify the layout, and then we would send it to MagCloud for publishing. So another skill learned. Now, it may be that's not where your interest lies, but inevitably, I think, as an outcome of collaborative projects, you're going to learn new skills. And these were the particular skills that I learned from being part of this group. Okay, so that is 1 through 6, if you've been keeping count. And I promised you a bonus one if you watch till the end, so Dear solo viewer who has watched to the end, you have no idea how much I appreciate you, and I hope you feel that the payoff was worth watching to the end. What about the pandemic? When the pandemic came, we couldn't meet physically for quite a while. And then, as it turned out, one of the members of our group moved to a new town, and we wanted to keep Francis as part of the group. And so we went to Zoom meetings and had to learn how to do all the sequencing and editing, etc. for the zine remotely over Zoom. So what's the seventh benefit that I got for my creativity from being part of this group? Mike, a member of the group, suggested when the pandemic started up that in the absence of being able to get together physically, he was going to, every month or so, make a little something and send it to the rest of us by mail. And we all said, wow, that's a great idea, let's do that. So roughly once a month, or a little bit less frequently, I received mail from Francis, from Kim, from Mike. Wonderful, wonderful work. Work in progress, finished work. It was interesting to see over the course of the 3 years of the pandemic, the progression in the creativity and ingenuity of each of the members as they made things to send by mail. And those things varied from prints to handmade books to puzzles. It was amazing, totally amazing. So that's the seventh benefit that I got for my creativity from being part of this group. And if you find a tribe, be it an online tribe or a tribe that is local to you and can meet physically, I would suggest this as a great way to collaborate and learn even more about how different members that share your passion approach their creativity and how their creativity grows. And you can likewise share the same about your own process and creativity. As always, I want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have some thoughts on what I've told you today in this video, please leave them in the comments below. But I would really, really urge you to find a few people and start a group. Again, it could be online, people from far afield, or it could be perhaps people who are fairly close and can get together physically. I really think that your creativity will benefit and it will be a good experience. So again, thanks for watching. See you next week.